Hey there, my name is Pravus, and welcome to a new strategy game called Hexarchy. Imagine you took a 4X game like, let's say, Civilization, and turned it into a deck builder, and that's effectively what Hexarchy is. How your empire is going to develop is entirely dependent on what cards are in your deck and when you draw them, and whether you have the resources you'll need to properly enact them. And in the meantime, you are competing with other players for resources, territory, and glory. This is developed by Maintain Software and published by Yogscast Games, who are the sponsors for today's video, and of course a very big thank you to them for that and getting me early access. I'm looking forward to playing this today. If as you guys watch this video, you like what you see and you want to learn more, there will of course be a link in the description down below. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump into a single-player skirmish game and I'll show you how this works. Now there are a number of different civilizations that you can play with, each with their own special abilities and modifiers and some of their own special unique units which can give them an edge in battle. Let's try playing as Rome. It feels like it's never wrong to try playing as Rome. And welcome to our little corner of the world. All right, we are immediately going to draw our starting hand and we need to decide where we're going to be placing down our capital. This works exactly the same as many other of the 4X strategy games you might be used to. I'm actually going to go ahead and place my city right over here, or actually recommended, because I see a couple of pretty decent high-yield tiles nearby, and I'd like to go ahead and start gathering up resources from there as quickly as is possible. So let's go ahead and found Rome. Alright, now, welcome to Rome. There are a handful of resources you do need to worry about. Of course, we do have our food, and the faster your food grows, the faster your population grows, and the more of these tiles you're going to be able to work, which is obviously great. We also have to worry about hammers for our production, gold for, well, any form of trade, and of course, culture, which grows our borders. Arguably, the most important resource in this game is going to be your hammers, because that is the primary resource used to play any of the cards that we are going to be drawing from our deck, as you can see here. So if I wanted to place down, let's say, woodworking, we could do that. That's going to cost me 2 hammers. Doing so is now going to unlock some new cards that are going to be added into our deck, new technologies, if you will. Though we do get to choose one of them and add it to our deck immediately. I'm going to pick the lumber mill because we can play this on this forest right over here and get a firewood card in addition, and as a result, we are now gaining 3 hammers and 2 food from 1 tile in the very first turn of the game. More hammers means more cards can be played, means we can scale up a lot faster. That's obviously really, really, really good. I'm also going to go ahead and burn this firewood card, which is going to get me a couple more hammers, plus science. In the bottom right, you can see we have some special resources. I can use this science to go ahead and research animal husbandry immediately. Let's take the pasture card, and what I'm going to do is take this card and toss it into my stockpile. This stockpile is actually a very important aspect of the game. A lot of your luxury resources, science resources, etc. are going to be tossed into this group, but you can also save certain cards if you need to, which can actually be very, very useful if there's something you know you're going to want next turn. So I'll hold on to both of these cards. I might even hold on to the settler because you never know, though I don't have any expectations. And then let's go ahead and end our turn. Calculate all the resources, grow the city of Rome, get an extra population, so we're now working an extra tile, and there we go. All right, so we're holding on to the pasture, infrastructure, and settler. I think I actually draw less cards for doing this, so maybe I shouldn't have saved the settler. That might have been a mistake, but oh well. Let's take this pasture, and I'm going to go ahead and place this now on the cows. All right, now we are not only getting some food and some gold, we are also getting an extra hammer, which means more cards for later. Also, food is being stored in the inventory. I can click and drag this food and drop it on Rome if I want to in order to increase the bars you already see for its growth. I don't necessarily need to do that right now, but these are some ways of kind of supercharging your city. Also below this, you're going to see that there is happiness. As we get luxury resources, we'll be able to start playing these here as well to make our people extra happy, and they'll start generating more culture points. I would say it makes a lot of sense to get a scout, but that wouldn't be a very efficient use of my hammers. I'm going to save the scout for next turn. We're going to play a settler immediately, so I'll be able to expand and grab myself a second city. All right, now we could try saving some more of these cards, but again, I can only have 3 things in my inventory at any time. In this case, it's 2 food and 1 card. You can increase this, which can give you a lot of options later on, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. You can use food, by the way, to go ahead and pay for your settlers instead of production, so that is a way of growing very, very rapidly. Do I think I'm going to want the fishing tech? I don't see any luxury resources nearby that would help me there, so probably not. What about the mining card? I could use mining. There's a few hills nearby, might be able to get some extra production that way. So, okay, let's start by playing this. Masonry, this would unlock. You can see what kind of cards it's going to add, by the way. Metalworking, road, axemen, pyramids, and so on. Okay. Also, there's the warehouse, which is a method of storing extra stuff. I was talking about that earlier, so this could still be a good option for me, too. I'm going to go ahead and take the warehouse early. So let's play that down here in Rome. Now my inventory space goes up to 5, so I can hold more resources and more cards if I want. Let's also place down that scout so that next turn I'll be able to start moving. And it looks like we already found our neighbor. It's Greece. Well, that just seems appropriate. Let's take my settler and figure out where I might want to go next. There are some horses, and it looks like some iron not too far away. This is a little bit risky, but I could see this being a really good settling location. Let's go ahead and move our settler over here, and next turn I will be able to settle a city in this location with a couple of very, very useful militaristic strategic resources. Gonna end my turn, discard the rest of my cards. Greece, of course, is doing their thing. They've trained up a warrior. Don't seem interested in coming toward me, though, so I consider that to be at least a good thing. Okay. We are shuffling the deck, which means a lot of cards are now available once again. So we have 8 hammers to work with. Let's start by going to our city over here, and we're going to found this. So Antium is now founded. They grabbed the horses before I could get to it. Dang. All right, well, there's a chance I'll be able to snag this back with some culture later on. At least I do have the iron on lockdown. We could get ourselves another settler, and as I said, we could use our food. Since I've stored a lot of this up, that's not a bad idea. Or we could take 3 food and immediately start getting a boost in Antium if I wanted to. But I don't want to. Let's go ahead and get myself another settler at the cost of food, so I'll be able to grow later on. Another scout is an option. Instead, I'm going to go ahead and start with the writing. Let's get ourselves a library. I'm going to place this down here in Rome, which means we'll start generating some science passively now per turn. I could see that being very helpful. And I'm going to actually save this firewood. I don't think I have any immediate use for it, and instead let's go ahead and get myself another scout. And then with a scout we already trained, it's time to start moving. We can go into some enemy territory if I want to. I probably should stay somewhat far away, and I know they have a warrior in this area. Let's go explore over here. You can only assign 1 order to your military units per turn, even if that means they could have moved more tiles normally. If you issue a command and they only move 1 tile, doesn't matter. They forfeit the rest of their movement. They can't take any actions, they can't attack, etc. So think carefully about how you're going to use your units. One fun thing about Hexarchy is it is a much faster-paced game than something like, let's say, Civilization. Okay, the enemy is now moving a warrior nearby. They might be thinking about grabbing Antium from me. If I could possibly get a warrior card to defend, that would not be a bad idea. Otherwise, it's a fairly defenseless town. Okay. What do we want, do we think? Well, we could go ahead and grab things like the construction tech. This would get me architecture, engineering, a granary, and a fort. Agriculture could get me some farms. I do need food. Masonry would get me the roads, also the axemen. You know, that is a way to get myself a military unit. Let's start by getting masonry. I'm going to get myself the axeman card, and then we're going to place this down in Antium. I can't. It needs to have 2 population. Let's take a food, drop it off in Antium, and then let's place an axeman. Now they're not going to run in here and try to take the city, and in fact, I have a much stronger military unit right next to them. All right, this kind of works for me. We'll talk about military combat in just a little bit. For now, let's think about what else we want to do. I could try placing down more lumber mills, let's say over here. That could be worth a few extra hammers. Got another firewood card. Let's actually burn it. And what you can do with any of your cards, if you no longer want it in your deck, is go over here and just burn it, get a couple of extra hammers, and get some science. Can actually be very nice. Just be wary. Once it's gone, it's gone. Thinning out the deck can be a very good thing, but, I mean, if you end up wishing you had that card, well, too bad, you're out of luck. All right, so what do we want here? I'm going to grab agriculture using my science. Horseback riding is another tack. There are, of course, wonders in this game. The Hanging Gardens is a thing. I'm not going to worry about that right now. Agrarian society. Now, let's go ahead and grab myself a farm. Could see that being useful. I'm also going to play down the infrastructure card, which now means the farm costs me 1 gold instead of any of my hammers. And I'm going to place this, let's say over here, I guess, in these grasslands, which means this tile is now worth 5 food, so Rome can theoretically grow a lot faster. I'll also go ahead and play the construction card, and there's nothing else I can really do here, except maybe take the granary, so we get an extra population, and we are able to grow a lot faster. Yeah, I think I'll take this, and then I'm just going to go ahead and save this for next turn, since we obviously don't have enough hammers. Now, another important aspect of this game is going to be trade. If we go over here, we can see that right now there are some gems and some iron available to buy at the cost of some of my gold, which is currently going up by 5 per turn. We could also take our resources and sell them to other players. This is a great way to get some strategic resources you might need or other such useful things. And considering some cards do require some of these strategic resources to even play down, this can be a lifesaver. Anyway, where do I want to go next? Well, we can take our settler, and where do I want to go? Up over this direction would be a very aggressive settle against Athens, but it gets us close to some of the marble. There's a lot of food nearby. Not much else that could be useful. If we go over this direction, though, there's still a decent amount of food, some hills, some gems, more luxury resources this way. Let's go move over here. Looks like we found France, though. Paris is nearby. Okay. Well, I don't love that, but I mean, it is what it is. With my scout, I'm going to go over this direction. We're just going to kind of reveal a bit more of this area, find out what else is over here. Looks like there's another settler from, I don't know if this is China or if this is Persia, but okay. We found quite a few players so far. I'm feeling a little intimidated all of a sudden, but that's fine. We don't have anything to spend our hammer on, so let's just go ahead and end our turn. So I'll get a third city in just a bit. I'll have to defend that, though, which can be tricky. The enemy is now moving in with some of their warriors. Okay, so I don't like that. We're going to have to try to get rid of them. First, let's go over here. And we are going to take our new city, place that down so we get this city here. All right, we still have the granary. I might want that. There's another warrior here. That could be useful. Let's start by taking our axemen and getting rid of their military unit. So the way this works is a very simple numbers check. I have 8 strength with my axemen. They have 4 strength with their warrior. What'll happen is I'll win the fight. They'll do 4 damage to me. I'll do 8 damage to them. So they're going to die. I am now wounded, but at least I should be able to heal within my own borders, so this ends up being a fine choice for me. And in the meantime, this character has now used up all of its actions. It can't do anything else. Range units, you can imagine, are extremely valuable in this game because they can burn down the health and effectively the combat strength of an enemy unit without dying or taking any damage themselves. I'm going to take another warrior, and let's place it in, I guess... I actually want to take some food and place it over here in Antium. Let's do that first. Get a warrior. That takes it 1 population, but I'll go 1, 2, 3 and drop that here again. So now we're able to work a couple more tiles. And the thing is, I want to use this warrior next turn to go over here and seize the horses. I want to have this. I do not want to leave that for them. Anything else that would make sense for me? Well, the pasture makes a lot of sense if I am going to go over here and grab the horses. So I'll save this for a future turn. The granary I'll place down in Rome so that this can grow a lot faster. So we get an extra population, which means we're now working another tile. Not very good tiles, though, mind you. So we're going to need to get some more upgrades later on, but this is okay, I guess. Let's see, mobilize. You know, I actually could use this to just basically say we can start moving my warrior immediately, and I don't need the charge card. Let's go ahead and play this here on the warrior. And now the warrior actually gets an action, even though I just placed him this turn. We're going to move him over here, and next turn, I will use him to seize this territory so that I can have the horses, and then I'll place down a pasture. Anything else that I want to do? Well, let's go ahead and explore this direction. So we find another enemy city over here. There's Persepolis over here. Okay. And I don't know who this is. I think this is going to be China, and this looks like Persia. So we're pretty surrounded already, but I've got 3 cities, and I'm generating 8 hammers per turn. I'd like to think this is good, but what I need are a lot of mines so I can take advantage of the copper, the gems, the marble, and any of the other nearby hills. Oh, and I forgot we had another scout. With this other scout, we are going to go, let's say, to this forest in France's territory. Never mind, I don't even have that much range. Just trying to find out what else is over here. There's Orleans over this direction, Orléans. That's fine. We can always take cities, and it actually works exactly the way you would think it does. A military unit walks into a city and takes it unless it has a defender, in which case they do a quick strength check, and whoever wins kills the other unit and then marches in. And then if you want to take the city, you have to occupy it, and then next turn claim the territory just like we will with this hex later on. So cities can trade hands fairly quickly if you're not paying attention. Now, how do you actually win the game? Well, mainly by gaining victory points. That's actually shown up over here in the top left. The more hexes we control, the more points we have. The more cities we steal, the more of these victory points we are going to gain. If we If we build some wonders, we will be able to get more victory points, etc., etc. So basically, just by playing the game and being stronger than everyone else, you'll be able to win. The Hanging Gardens, for example, here we can see is worth 4 victory points. It's going to start producing those for us, so that could be kind of good. That said, I had a plan here, so let's go over here, and we are going to claim this territory. The horses are now mine. I'm going to place down this pasture so that we are now able to work this and start generating horses as a strategic resource. I have some science just sitting here that I can't do anything with. That doesn't feel good. Let's take one of our food, drop it over here so we get an extra population so I can work more tiles. I do have a mine available. I guess I should place that on the gems. I mean, we could place it over here on this iron, but I guess I'll place it on the gems, start getting some extra tiles. Let's see. Can I say I want to drag you and drop you here? Yes. So that's going to make sure I have 13 hammers next turn. I will generate less gold. Let's generate some food instead. And then let's see. Anything else I want to do over here? This actually looks mostly fine. Can you drop your guy over here? And now I'll have 15 hammers as of next turn. Now that's not bad. Let's take our military unit and drop him off in Antium so that he's able to heal. I can use a promotion in order to boost up his strength a little bit. Or I could burn a card. Nah, but I want things like archers and stuff. In fact, I'm actually going to save the archer card. I might want that next turn. Let's go ahead and promote my axeman, and his base strength will be able to go up. All right, let's see. With my scout, I'll go ahead and just march this way through France's territory, just see what else they've got. And that's good enough. Let's end our turn. So they're moving their units around. I can see they're looking to settle as well. Okay, fair enough. That's going to be fun. Down here you can see now we have some luxuries generating. I can use these just like with food and toss them onto cities and increase their happiness. Though it looks like that's happening automatically because we already went over our inventory, and if you do that, the game either tries to automatically sell or distribute resources for you. All right, so we actually can get some science here. Let's go ahead and do a bit of metalworking. This unlocks a lot of stuff. Swordsmen, spearmen, jewelers, legionnaires are unique units. These guys are obviously really, really good. Build a fort when fortifying. Ooh, okay. And then get a promotion card and then start with an extra promotion slot. Interesting. Do I want the Legionnaire or do I want something else? For the fun of it, let's take the Legionnaire as my card. I've got 15 hammers to work with, so we can do an absolute ton over here. I'm going to get a lumber mill, and we're going to toss this over, let's say here. Okay, that gets me firewood. I have an extra science to spare. Let's get mysticism. Philosophy is an option. Paganism is a civic. We could use this to start boosting up our nation in some way. The temple is a way of getting some extra culture per citizen. Temple of Diana is a wonder. I think I'm going to take the Temple of Diana. Since I have so many hammers, we can actually go for some wonders, and this is going to reduce the culture required for border growth in all of my cities. That doesn't seem half bad to me. We could even go for another settler if I wanted to do that. Is there even a place nearby that I could settle? Maybe we could settle in this location right here. On these hills, near some mountains. It's not good. But I mean, it is a thing we could do. All right, let's start with the Temple of Diana, and I'm going to drop that off right over here. All right, so that's now been placed. I'm going to get myself a quick legionnaire in Rome. I'm going to drop off some food over here since this city is not growing as quickly as I want. We have an extra promotion. We'll toss that onto our legionnaire. It has 3 promotion slots, so this is one of them. Now it has a strength of 16. And I'm going to take an archer, and I can't place that anywhere. Actually, we are out of hammers. Never mind. Do we want the settler after all? You know what? Let's just take the settler. All right, let's just try it. We'll see if it does anything. Take one more food, drop it off here so I get this pop back. We can go ahead and burn the firewood, save the science, but I got 2 more hammers. Now I can place down an archer, and we'll do it, let's say, right here at Antium. Okay, good enough. Now with this warrior, I'm going to go ahead and attack the Greek scout. I want to go ahead and just kill this guy right here. Move forward next turn. If we want to, we can claim their sheep, make sure that's mine. And I might send some legionnaires to go ahead and try to take down Athens and just knock Greece out of the game as quickly as we can. Might seem a little bit mean, but that's just kind of how the cookie crumbles. You got to play aggressively in this game. China builds a Temple of Diana. Apparently you can build more than 1 copy of the same wonder. I was unaware of that. That is interesting. So let's see, a bunch of borders just grew. It looks like, yes, the French did just set down a city over there. That's fun. We could go for some additional libraries. Let's see, if I go for tactics, we could learn a few extra promotions for some units. Mathematics, on the other hand, would get me the catapult, and the catapult is really, really, really strong. We're going to do that. I'm actually going to burn the warrior. I no longer feel like I'm ever going to want this weak of a card when there are going to be legionnaires and stuff, so let's go ahead and thin out the deck a little bit. Let's play the mathematics. Let's get ourselves a catapult, and I'm going to take my axeman units, and we're going to go ahead and start marching forward this direction toward Athens. And I'm going to send the archer and stack up underneath this so we can be able to take some pot shots over here if they do train up some units. Catapult gets placed here on Rome. The catapult can do a lot of ranged siege damage. However, enemy units can capture it if it's not defended, so you always want to stack it onto another military unit. I'm going to play infrastructure as a card, which is going to make the library only cost me 1 gold. Let's place this on Antium, so now I'm generating even more science per turn. And I'm still sitting on a fair bit of hammers. Let's research tactics. Logistics, Pathfinder. Skirmisher at a range attack could be kind of useful. Charge, Pathfinder, blah, blah, blah. Remove terrain movement penalties for friendly units traversing this unit's hex and adjacent hexes. Yeah, I don't know. Skirmisher might be the way to go here. The thing is, it adds a range attack. Is that range attack still worth 16 strength? I don't know, but I'm going to add it onto my Legionnaire, and hopefully that is the right call. So I might have just turned my Legionnaire into a 16 strength range unit, which would actually be kind of insane. So do I want to place this settler over here? I feel like it's a terrible location, but we're going to try it. I mean, it's settled in these mountains in a terrible spot. Ugh. It's going to have almost no food. I honestly don't think it's probably worth it, but... All right. End our turn. Yeah. A unit needs orders. We're not going to worry about that. I want the catapult to stack onto the Legionnaire, and they'll travel together and become an indomitable force. All right, so Athens does indeed have an archer who's over here now. We may want to take a shot at that. Hello, I see that they are sending a settler over here. I can't imagine that's a smart decision, but okay, thank you. We could spend some gold to redraw our hand. That is an option. That said, it costs gold to do that, and I kind of need to hold on to some of this gold because the further away from your territory you send your units, the more they are going to begin costing, which I think is interesting. Let's go ahead and shoot their archers, do some damage. I'm going to take the axemen here, and we are going to kill their scouts. Just go ahead and start marching forward like so. Get them in range of the city. Then I guess we'll go ahead and place this. Cultivate, so we can start getting some extra food from a farm, or we could get wineries, which is a luxury resource. I feel like I need food. Let's get the cultivate card here. We're going to place this on our farm like so we get a little bit more food value. Let's get horseback riding. Feudalism. That's interesting. Knights, workshops, vanguards, Himeji Castle. Double time for movement. Horsemen can be good. I do have horses, so this is actually a really good choice for me. Let's take this. I'm going to place down a military unit there. We're going to take some food, drop that off over here, actually take an extra food and just leave it so we don't lose any of our progress. I'm going to place down another granary over in, let's say, Antium, so it grows a lot faster, I'm hoping. And I'm actually going to place down a hex right next to this city because if there's anywhere I'm going to get attacked, it's probably in this city right here against all these other players. So by having a fort, I'm hoping that I can boost up my defense of this area dramatically. I think that's going to be the way to go. All right, and let's just go ahead and unlock fishing as far as technology. Another tech is available here, blah, blah, blah. I don't really care. Fine, we'll take hunter-gatherers. And it actually looks like the French are trying to train up some really big units over here, so that's one more reason I really want to have the catapult raining death so my Legionnaire is in a safe spot. We're definitely going to be able to knock Greece out of the game super early on, though. I think that's going to be nice. So let's go ahead and shoot the archer in Athens, get rid of him so I can march right into Athens. Next turn, I'll be able to take this. So let's see. How far can the catapult move? The catapult can move up over here. I'm going to do that, move you here, move the Legionnaire over here as well. So we'll be able to start shooting at this as of next turn. Another farm, thank God. I do need that. Place it there, get some extra food. Do I want another axeman? Wouldn't be a bad plan. Roads! Oh, yes. Yes. Okay. So roads are good in that they reduce movement costs between territory. They also reduce the amount of supply they need and maintenance costs in cities and so on. All very good. Also, as Rome specifically, we do gain extra hammers for every hex that has a road in it. So doing this, for example, may cost me 4 hammers, But by doing so, we've now got all these cities connected, and we should find that any of these worked tiles will be able to get me some hammers as well. Nice. Pyramids. Automatically collect land special resources within 2 hexes. I don't have enough. Actually, I could build this. If we want to do the firewood, we could place down pyramids. Might not be a bad plan, actually. If I do this, I could gather up quite a few other resources. Is it better to do this? Objectively, yes. Even though I'd rather save this tile for something else, it gathers a ton of resources, so let's do that. Okay, and then let's get architecture automatically researched. There's things like the Colosseum, the Great Wall, the Forge. All right, for every citizen working in the city hex, we could get some extra hammers. Yeah, I can see that being great. Let's take that, and I want to store you. And I'm going to take some food, and once again, try desperately to grow the city. We've got no food to speak of over here, and it's a serious problem. Okay, moving on to the next turn. We're about a third of the way, maybe a quarter of the way-ish through having enough victory points. The more wonders and stuff we get, obviously, the better, but taking a bunch of these cities is definitely going to help. Looks to me like the French are going to try to take out the Greeks, which I think is an interesting decision. Okay, well, if that's the case, I don't know. Do I want to just go ahead and march into the city, and hopefully that's the better choice? I mean, we can't actually march directly into the city, believe it or not. You can't just walk into it. You have to walk next to it and then enter it. So it's going to take me 2 turns to do this. Let's take the catapult and go ahead and shoot their swordsman, make him weaker than my legionnaire so I would win a fight if something were to happen there. Let's go over to Athens and seize the city. So that's now been claimed, so problem solved there. The Forge I will place in, I guess, Rome. So now we can make up to 21 hammers per turn. Wow. Let's go ahead and boost up the strength of my catapult. I should have done that sooner because now it can rain even more death. So that's not bad. Granary over here. Yep, so this can now grow a little bit easier. We've got 4 hammers remaining. A spearman? I mean, we can get it for free. 10? Yeah, it's got a bit of strength to it. Let's go ahead and get another unit just so I'll be able to have some more people fighting against the French. I definitely want to get logistics. Military dictatorship. Okay. Expeditionary force. When fighting outside of my territory, I get a lot of strength. Good God. Right. You place this on a catapult. That actually is insane. Does this work? I want to test it. Can we place this on a Oh, we can. The catapult can now rain 16 damage upon anybody. We just have to defend it with our life. Okay. Well, tell you what. I'm going to run over here and see if we can attack Paris. Yep, we killed their settler, and we just marched in with my cavalry because I used promotion on this guy, so he automatically attacks once he's been moved. So now we just marched into Paris. I should be able to steal the capital from the French. They're not in good shape. Athens is not in good shape. Actually, these guys are going to starve and lose a lot of people in a minute. Do I want to get another axeman? You know what? Yes, I want more military units. Military conquest works for me. Okay, now we're making a lot of resources thanks to the owning of Athens. That definitely does help. We have a famine, not nearly enough food, though. That seems to be a constant issue. Greece is down. Goodbye. We've got 20 hammers to work with because we've been so dang industrious. Let's go ahead and use the catapult to kill off their units. That guy's down. Thank you. And Legionary, I'm going to go ahead and take a risk and move you over here to Lyon, even though this is undefended. And if they take this, I am so dead. So we cannot let them take this. Do I want another catapult? Yeah, you know what? More catapults, also good. Let's just toss that over here so it follows around another axeman. Engineering tech. Yeah, that would be a thing. What we can do is buy a science for 3 gold, which I'll do. Then I can get engineering basically for free. I think I'm going to take Notre Dame. Yeah, I like that idea. It's a little risky in that we're not making, like, any meaningful amount of gold. So this could come back to bite me in a big way if I'm not careful. But I like the idea of generating a lot of extra happiness in all my cities so that we can get more culture and expand our borders. I can't take the city. I have to pillage it? All right. Well, then let's pillage it. Burn the city of Paris. Sure, why not? Just raise their capital city. That sounds nice. Well, in that case, I actually could totally afford to get myself another settler. Let's do that. And then I can go ahead and expand in the direction that I just cleared out. Well, we're going to start by killing the archer here in Lyon. I'm going to go ahead and march in here with my legionary. We're going to move forward with my spearman and my archer over here so we can do more damage this direction. And I know I have a lot of excess hammers, but most of these are not useful. I could burn some cards to try and thin out the deck, and we're getting to a point where I really should consider doing that. We have way too many cards that we can pull from. Still, we should be able to knock France out of the game fairly soon, or at least take out most of what we would care about. Get a lot of extra victory points that away. And with all the extra luxuries going around, it looks like people are very happy, so we're getting a lot of culture, finally. Ooh, Chichen Itza. Reduce maintenance costs for all cities within 3 hexes. Yes, and also roads. We know we like roads. Let's go ahead and build these all the way over here. There we go, so that's taken care of. A pasture? You're kidding me, we finally have pastures? In that case, let's go ahead and get some sheep so we can get wool, another luxury resource. Chichen Itza, right along over here, would get me eventually 4 cities. Yep, let's do that. That's pretty good. Well, let's use the charge card again on the cavalry. Move you up over here, and then you should immediately charge into this city. So we can now pillage this and remove this from the French. Claim this city over here. We are going to try to hit and kill your units. Move forward into Orleans. You're going to go down, grab this city as well. And actually, I think we have enough victory points that we should now be able to win the game. Because we've managed to conquer, like, half of the continent. It's pretty good. So we simply end the turn. We're going to let everyone else have a chance to take some victory points away from me. They also built Chichen Itza. Copycats! A lot of people happy, grabbing a lot of extra tiles with my culture, and by turn 16, we win the game. All right, and it wasn't even close. For doing this, we do gain a lot of different experience for my campaign progress, and as we level up, we unlock some of the different civilizations, so now I have access to France. Soon I should be able to gain access to, what is it, China and such? That'd be fun. Also, there's a whole bunch of other special objectives, which we can see by going to the main menu and our progress over here. There we go. So Conquistador, Marauder, Defender of the Faith, Greatness, and you get a bunch of different rewards and stuff, which you can use to just say, hey look, I'm awesome, I have a title. The ultimate goal, of course, being to play online against your friends. That was pretty quick, though. That entire game took me only about 45 minutes, and it would be a lot faster if I weren't actively talking to you guys. Against other players, I can imagine that a single game might take about an hour or so. So if you're looking for a 4X game that breaks from the mold, but also is fast-paced so you're not committed to a several-hour marathon, Hexarchy might be for you. Definitely one of those games that's easy to pick up and understand, difficult to master. For example, I really probably should have burned a lot more cards than I did, and I probably should make much more prolific use of trade in order to get access to different resources. However, I decided to go for a very militaristic focus as Rome and expanded my way to victory, and you know what? That works. On higher difficulties, maybe not so much. Still, a really unique idea for a 4X game. Definitely fills a new niche, something I'm looking forward to playing a lot more. Once again, I want to thank the Yogscast for sponsoring today's video. Much appreciated. I am actually looking forward to this game, and I hope you guys found this informative and helpful. If you did and you want to learn more about the game, you can of course find that link in the description down below. Otherwise, I would ask you to hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, make sure you hit that notify bell, and I will see you guys next time.